So hi all. So in this lecture, I am going to discuss the characteristic of electromagnetic wave in vacuum. Okay. So in vacuum, we have already know the Maxwell's equation. The Maxwell's equation can be written in these four equations. We have del dot E equal to 0, and del cross E is minus dou B by dou T, and del dot B is 0, and del cross B mu 0 epsilon 0 dou E by dou T. So these four equations constitute the Maxwell's equations in vacuum, because in vacuum the charge density is 0 and as well as the current density is also 0. So that is why del dot E is 0 and there is no current component in del cross beta. Okay. Now from this we have already derived the wave equation. So from the Maxwell's equation in vacuum, we can show that the electric field and magnetic field will satisfy a three-dimensional wave equation, which is written like this. So this is called the three-dimensional wave equation for electromagnetic wave in vacuum. So one of the simple solution for this wave equation is the harmonic solution or the plane wave solution. So a general plane wave solution in complex notation we can write like this: E of RT is E0 tilde E raised to I A dot R minus omega t, and B tilde of RT is B0 tilde E raised to I K dot R minus omega t. Okay, now this E0 tilde is called the complex amplitude, which is vector E0 times E raised to I delta E. But delta E is called the initial phase of the electric field, and B0 tilde is again called the complex amplitude of the magnetic field, with vector B0 E raised to I delta V. Okay, now using the Maxwell's equations, we can find the characteristics of this the plane wave solution. So one of the thing is we can set, that del dot E is 0. Now del dot E equal to 0 implies K dot E is 0. So how to find that? The thing is del dot E can be written as dou by dou xi times ei tilde equal to 0, where I running from x to z. Okay, so since the I is the index I is already used for the complex notation, so better you put j. Okay, now what would be, so what is ej? So ej is a jth component of the complex electric field E. That means j can be x, j can be y, j can be z. So j equal to x means it will be x component. Okay, so what is xj? So xj can be when xj can be x or y or z. Okay, so instead of x to z, better we put 1 to 3. Okay, since there is only three components: x component, y component, z component. There is one corresponding to x, two corresponding to y, and three corresponding to z. So that would be the better notation. So this is one way. Now the same thing in very short way we can write as sum over j equal to 1 to 3 dou j ej equal to 0. And if you are using the Einstein summation convention, then we can write it is dou j ej tilde is equal to 0. Okay, now just examine what would be dou by dou x of Ex tilde. So if you differentiate the x component of the electric field with respect to x, then what will you get is again you'll get Ex tilde, and there will be one Ikx outside. So that is the only thing you will get. Okay, because if you look at the electric field, which is E0 tilde e raised to I k dot r minus omega t, it will have three component: Ex component, Y component, Z component. If you take the X component, it will be E0 x tilde. Then again, this exponential factor will be common, e raised to I k dot r minus omega t. This k dot r contains three terms: kx times x, ky times y, and kz times z. So if you differentiate this exponential with respect to x, you will get the same exponential times ikx. That ikx I would write and written outside. So the dou by dou x of ex tilde is ex times ikx. So that means the operation of dou by dou x on the electric field is equivalent to the multiplication of electric field by the quantity ikx. Okay, so that is the one simple way you can understand. Okay, so this derivative is an operator. So this mathematical operation, the action of this mathematical operation on the electric field will leave ikx. Okay, so the effect of the derivative operator on the complex electric field is equivalent to multiplication of electric field with I times that corresponding component of k vector. So if you are differentiating with respect to x, you have to multiply with the x component of k. If you differentiate with respect to y, what would be the effect of dou by dou y? That will be corresponding to I ky. Okay, so then means dou j acting on ej will get ej itself multiplied by the jth component of k. So ikj, that would be equal to 0. What is I times ej tilde times kj is equal to 0. Now I is just root minus 1. This can be taken to the right side. So what will you get? Ej tilde kj equal to 0. Okay, remember we have used the Einstein summation convention here. So what is that? Einstein summation convention means we have to sum over repeated index. So here j is a repeated index, so j is coming twice. So we have to sum over j cyclically. So j can be x, j can be y, and j can be z. So here it is also ej tilde kj means it is this, basically it is a summation of j over j time ej tilde kj. Now this is a another way of writing k dot e. So what you got is k dot e tilde is 0, or we can also write this, since k dot e tilde is 0, the vector component is coming in its amplitude, the complex amplitude. So k dot e0 tilde equal to 0, or finally we can write k dot vector e0 is equal to 0. Okay, so that means the del dot e equal to 0 implies k dot e equal to 0, or k dot e0 is equal to 0. Which means the amplitude of the electric field and direction of propagation, this case called direction of propagation, they are mutually perpendicular. So the electric field is orthogonal to direction of propagation. Now similarly, from del dot b equal to 0, we can show that the amplitude of the magnetic field is also mutually perpendicular. Okay, so finally using del dot e equal to 0 and del dot b equal to 0, we can show that both the electric field and magnetic fields are perpendicular to direction of propagation. Electric field and magnetic field are perpendicular to direction of propagation of electromagnetic wave. Okay. Now we can check about the direction of electric field and magnetic field. How would be the direction of electric field and magnetic field, whether they are parallel or inclined or perpendicular? So for that, we can start with del cross E equal to minus dou B by dou T. Okay. Now this can be proved using Levi-Civita symbol. So this Levi-Civita symbol, usually denoted as epsilon, with three indexes j, k, l. Okay, and its condition is it is plus 1 if j, k, l is cyclic, and it is equal to 0 when any two indexes are same. And it is equal to minus 1 if j, k, l non-cyclic. Okay, so I will give an example. Suppose this j, k, l can take value 1, 2, 3. Okay, suppose it can take any value from 1 to 3. Or value, okay, instead of 1, 2, 3, better put x, y, z. So that means epsilon x, y, z. So x, y, z is cyclic. So epsilon x, y, z means it is plus 1. And epsilon x, z, y, it is non-cyclic. Okay. X, y, z. So x, y, z, this is cyclic way. X, y, z. Z, x, y is cyclic. Y, z, x is cyclic. But x, z, y is non-cyclic. So x, z, y become minus 1. And epsilon, what would be x, x, y? So here two indices are same, it would be 0. So if any two indices are same, it would be 0. And if x, y, z comes, if indices are coming in cyclic way, it would be plus 1. So similarly, so instead of suppose the first index if you're writing y, then second is z, and third x. So it is cyclic way, y, z, x. So epsilon y, z, x is 1. Okay, so this is one way of defining the Levi-Civita symbol. Okay, so similarly we can write like this also. So if the indices are 1, 2, 3, epsilon 1, 2, 3 is plus 1. But epsilon 1, 3, 2 is minus 1. Okay, because 1, 2, 3 is cyclic, but 1, 3, 2 is non-cyclic. And similarly, if you start with 2, then epsilon 2, 3, 1 is plus 1. But epsilon 2, 1, 3 is minus 1. Okay. So that is what is called the Levi-Civita symbol. So you might have studied this in the mathematical physics. If you are not learned, you will learn very soon. Okay. Now, what is the importance of Levi-Civita symbol here? So Levi-Civita symbol can be used to represent a component of cross product. Suppose if you have A cross B, and you want to know the x component of A cross B. The x component of A cross B, we can write the Levi-Civita symbol. First index is x, then next is y, z, epsilon x, y, z, then A, y, B, z. So remember here, the Einstein summation convention is followed here. Thing is, here y is repeated, so we have to sum over y, and z is repeated, we have to sum over z. Okay. Or if you have any confusion, then better we write like this. So suppose if you want to find the jth component of A cross B, then it is epsilon j k l a k b l. Okay, that would become more convenient. So that means if you want to find the x component, then we have to sum over k. So here k can be x, y, z, j, k, and l can take value x, y, z. So if you want to find the x component of A cross B, then the first is x only. Now k and l can take x, y, or z. So if okay, now since the first component is x, the other two component cannot take x. So because if other two component taken x, then it will become 0. Then the next possibility for k is only y. Now if k is y, then L cannot be y x, L cannot be y, and L cannot be x also. So the possibility of for L is only z. Then correspondingly A would become ay and BL will become bz plus epsilon x. Now the next possibility is k can take value z and L can take value y, and then it become az by. Now epsilon xyz is a cyclic permutation, therefore it will be plus 1 ay bz, and epsilon zxy is minus 1 minus az by. So this is nothing but the x component of A cross B, ay bz minus az by. So if you have any confusion, just expand this. Just expand this A cross B. So A cross B, you can expand as xyz, ax, ay, az,